Guys, we're back. What's up, guys? So Dr. Bobby here, your favorite board certified anesthesiologist. And you guys know exactly what we do on this channel. We talk about a lot of different things. We talk about videos centered around education, motivation, sprinkled with a touch of personal finance, all roll it together. And we get a channel that has continued to grow. Listen, it is 2022 and I cannot believe it. I think, like most of you in 2021, it's been a pretty trying year for most of us. Most of you know that I am a board certified anesthesiologist, and so the bulk of what I've been doing over the last year has been centered around working. Most of you know that the COVID pandemic is not over. So for all of you folks who continue to insist on not wearing masks and socially distancing, I would like to let you know that the pandemic is not over just because you're over it. Let's continue to wear our masks. Let's continue to vaccinate. Let's continue to socially distance, and let's continue to get over this. But moving forward, I spent a lot of time working, trying to ensure that I've both taken care of myself and that I have also taken excellent care of my patient. So a large part of why you have not seen me make videos has been because I've been inundated with work. And I'm sure that most of you can understand, with all of the stresses that we have about our jobs, with all of the stresses that we have with maintaining our family lives, that being creative for some of us is just an afterthought. And so I apologize for that, but I'm here now. And in today's video, I want to talk about a question that I continue to get a lot, and that stems around how and why I became an anesthesiologist. So in today's video, I'll go over a few questions that will address that topic. Before I do that, can we talk about the fact that despite me making a video in 6 months, the channel has continued to grow. I cannot believe that in the span of the past year and a half, this channel now has 2,200 subscribers. And I want to thank each and every one of you. I appreciate the fact of knowing that me sitting down to this camera has allowed for me to be able to impart something with my voice and my experience that you have found to be of value. And so I welcome each and every one of you, and I thank you for thinking enough of these videos to press that subscribe button and to continue to share the content. For those of you who continue to watch the videos and who are not subscribed, I want to encourage you that if you find this video or any of the other videos on my channel helpful, that you would please hit the subscribe button, like the video, and hit the notification bell. That gets the channel noticed by the YouTube algorithm and continues to help me to grow. I spent a large amount of time when I first started YouTube comparing my channel to other people's channels, and you know what? It's 2022. And honestly, I'm kind of done with that. I just want to put out quality videos that I believe in and on topics that I believe will help someone else. And even if you aren't interested in becoming a physician, even if you aren't interested in science, I believe that being self-disciplined and motivating other people to continue to go after their dreams and continue to achieve excellence is something that can be far-reaching from people who just want to go to medical school or who want to be physicians. But we can't forget that people that look like us are lacking in this field. So I want to encourage each pre-medical student, each pre-CRNA student, each nursing student, each physical therapist student, all of whom have a sorely limited number of underrepresented minorities, to keep going. But with all of that being said, why don't we just continue to move forward? We're going to continue to be positive. And for those of you who haven't subscribed, please take a moment to do so. So this is a really common question that I get a lot. When did I know I wanted to be a physician? So for me, in my experience, believe it or not, I actually first started talking about being a doctor when I was like 5 years old. And I know most of you are like, what the hell does a 5-year-old know about becoming a doctor? And I think that part of it probably was social conditioning from your family. You know, your mama and your daddy are always talking about, oh, son, you're going to be a doctor when you get older. And I think some of it probably had to do with that, but I also, in the deeper sense of understanding myself and understanding the path that we're all on, I personally believe that some of it had to do with the calling being on my life. So since I was about 5 years old, I would go around telling people that I wanted to become a physician. And of course, at the time, that was a really naive thought, because what did I know about all that it would take, the journey that you would have to go on in order to achieve this level of a career, and let alone some of the stumbling blocks and all of the perseverance that would be necessary to continue. But for whatever reason, I always knew since I was about 5. So throughout elementary school, when folks would ask me what I wanted to do, I would say, I am going to be a doctor. So anybody who's watching this video who knows me will tell you that Bobby always wanted to be a doctor since he was 5. Now, moving through middle school and into high school, obviously I became more exposed. And I credit my mom for hooking me up with a lot of mentors who were able to impart wisdom to me to understand the level of excellence that would be necessary in order for me to achieve this goal, and some of the characteristics from a character standpoint that would be necessary in order to be a good physician. That includes being altruistic. That includes being able to connect with people. That includes being able to meet people where they are and encourage them to be better. So with all that being said, mentors, many people came my way to push me into my own greatness. And I'm so grateful for that. So I learned a little bit more when I was in middle school and high school about what it would really take. And of course, being driven and being someone who wants to be doing things in a spirit of excellence, I looked up everything I could about becoming a physician. So for those of you who don't know, becoming a doctor requires an extensive amount of education and an extensive amount of experiential learning. So in addition to finishing high school, you have to go to college for 4 years. You don't necessarily have to major in a science, but you have to be exposed to a lot of sciences. Also, while you're in medical school, while you're in undergrad, you have to apply to medical school. And before you do that, you have to take the MCAT. So there is a large amount of studying, and this is a very high stakes test that is used in addition to your other life experiences that you have, in undergrad, like volunteering, research experience, etc., in order to present a dossier or a formal presentation of what you're going to bring to a medical school, what kind of a diverse thought process, and whether or not you're going to make a really good doctor. So they judge you on all these things, and then you get into medical school. That takes about another 4 years of time. So we're talking 4 years of undergrad, we're talking 4 years of medical school. Then while you're in medical school, after you take all these tests, you're then judged again based on your test scores during medical school, based on your GPA during medical school, and you are compared against your counterparts in whatever particular field you choose to go into. I became an anesthesiologist, so I applied to anesthesiology residencies, and I was compared to all of these other people. So, and then I had to complete a 4-year residency. So 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of medical school, and 4 years of anesthesiology. So, obviously, the thought process of becoming a physician earlier on, it sounds fun, but when you're in that process, or when you're learning about what it really takes and you're going through it, it's a completely different thing. So, I always knew, and I just happened to also be someone who really liked a challenge. And I knew in learning all of those things about what would be necessary in order to achieve success in this field, that I was up for that challenge. Obviously, as I got into undergrad, I recognized even more about what is necessary from a interpersonal standpoint, and from a drive and determination standpoint as to what it would be like and necessary in order to achieve this goal. So I spent a lot of time volunteering, a lot of time learning about science, and a lot of time being mentored by great physicians and great teachers who really imparted the importance of learning and the importance of excellence. And so that's sort of how my story evolved over the course of many years, in terms of becoming more comfortable and more informed about making this decision. And truly, I will tell you that even though you think you know, you don't really know until you're there. So I would encourage every person who's watching this video who's interested in going to medical school to continue to seek out as many opinions as you can, as much advice as you can from people along the journey to learn. And even still, you don't know until you're in it. Now, this is a great question in terms of people who have come my way. I have been very, very fortunate over the course of my career and over the course of becoming a physician to have been mentored and guided by so many great people along the way, from teachers in high school to mentors and scientists in undergrad. And also, as I moved into medical school, finding those colleagues and those teachers and mentors that guided me. There's a huge importance in developing relationships with people who are along the same journey as you, and there's an even more important necessity in mentorship. So in terms of early mentors, my mother was a huge mentor for me, even though no one else in my family had ever become a physician, let alone even gone to college. My mother possessed a level of determination and a level of diligence that imprinted on me the necessity to achieve excellence and to make sure that you do people right while you're doing it. So I would say my earliest mentor was my mother. And even though she could not guide me along the way, she used her ability and her people skills in selling appliances to meet all types of well-to-do people and to put me in touch with people who could positively affect my future. So in terms of my biggest mentors, that's one of them. Another huge mentor for me was a mentor that I had in college who served as sort of a pre-med advisor. Her name was Ella Kelly. And unfortunately, she has went to heaven, but she was a huge mentor to me, and she pushed me to achieve excellence, and she pushed me to know that I was smart enough to achieve anything that I put my mind to, and she really, really pushed me. So with that being said, going into medical school, after I had gone through the first 2 years, when I decided after my third year that I was really interested in research, I spent a year at the Mayo Clinic. And during that time, I learned and worked with a great group of anesthesiologists that really had a profound effect on me. So if you ever watch this video, Dr. David Warner at the Mayo Clinic, you had a profound effect on me in terms of choosing to become an anesthesiologist and choosing to move forward in this career. So I have been really fortunate to surround myself and to have been surrounded by and mentored by some great people who have influenced me. And I would encourage any person who's watching this video, whether or not you are interested in medicine, to seek out, and to surround yourself with other people who are positively pouring into your life. And if you're somebody who is doing something that other people are interested in doing, to make sure that you make yourself available, because lest we forget all the people that came before us and helped and pushed us on our way. So first and foremost, I think I became a physician because, not to be too deep, I think that it definitely was a calling on my life, and it definitely was a purpose that was imparted to me as something that I am supposed to fulfill in this life, number one. Number two, I think that I have a love for people and I have a love for science. And what better way to meld the two than to be able to help someone in a way that other people can't. Becoming a physician is hard, and so I always knew that I wanted to rise to the occasion and that I wanted to be the best. And in order to be a physician, you have to be very smart and you have to be very determined and self-disciplined. And what better way to show that? Ultimately, I just always thought it was a really cool job. I mean, you have people who put their trust in you, and you've learned things that allow for you to be able to heal people, and for you to be able to see and touch and handle people in a way that makes them better and makes them be able to live great lives. So I can't think of a better career, and I'm glad that I chose it.